Horace, the third book of the Odes, and the eighth Ode. A light-hearted, sympathetic poem. The bachelor Horace is celebrating at his home on March the 1st, and that's a strange date for a single man, a bachelor, to be celebrating anything, because this was the date set down for Women's Day, the Matronalia, a festival when married women sacrificed to Juno Lucina on the Esquiline Hill. But the poet invites his patron, the eminent Maecenas, to join him in a jug of wine and forget the cares of state. The occasion commemorates an incident that happened to him some years before. He narrowly escaped death from the branch of a falling tree. I'll read the Latin, then I'll read a translation and make a few comments. Maritiis caelebs, quid agam calendis, quid velint flores, et acerra turis plena miraris, positusque carbo in caespite vivo, docte sermones, utriusque linguae, voveram ducis epilas, et album libero caprum, prope fuleratus, arborus icto. Icties, anno rediunte, festus, corticem ad strictum pice, demo vebit, amporae fumum bibera institutae, consule tullo. Sume Maecenas, quietos amici sospites centum, et vigilis lucernas perfer in lucem. Procul omnis esto clamor et ira. Mite civilis supes urbe accuras, occidit daci cotisonis agmen, medus infestus sibi, luctuosis dissidet armis, servet Hispanae vetus hostis orae, cantaber sera domitus catena, iam scitae laxo meditatur acu caedera campis. Negligens, nequa populus laboret, parce privatus nimium cavera, et dona praesentis capet laetus orae, et lingua suvera. A fairly free translation by Joseph Clancy. March the 1st. I'm single, so what am I up to? What's the meaning of flowers and censer filled with incense and live coals laid on fresh turf? Wondering, are you? You master of learning in either language? I vowed a white goat and a delicious feast to Bacchus. That day the tree fell, and I was nearly put under. Every year, when this holy day comes around, it will draw the pitch-shield cork from a wine jar, put up to absorb the smoke, in the year that Tullus was consul. Drink up, Maecenas, 100 cups to your friend and his safety, and keep the lights alight until daylight. Let us stay far away from all racket and brawling. Now put aside your official civic concerns. Dacian Cottesau is dead with his army. The dangerous Medes bring themselves to grief by war with each other. The ancient enemy on the Spanish coast, Cantabria, bows subdued to our fetters. And now the Scythians, bows unstrung, are planning to give up their plains. Take it easy. Stop troubling too much over public welfare. Be a private citizen. Joyfully take the gifts of this hour, letting the grave matters go. Well, the ode is a charming, light-hearted invitation from Horace to his good friend and his patron, Maecenas. There's humour throughout, which the light sapphic metre, 3 tripping lines, followed by a bubbly half-line, suits excellently. The colloquial quid agam, what am I up to? The mock pompous doctor sermone sutriusque linguae, thou who art skilled in the dissertations of both languages, both Latin and Greek, none of those barbarian ones. These dissertations that he was involved in, even a clever fellow like you can't find the reason for my party. The mock solemn funeratus, buried with full rites when the tree clobbered him. The fantastic fumum bibera, to drink smoke of the Roman custom of putting the vintage wine in the apotheca, in the attic, above the kitchen stove, so that the smoke would rise up and somehow would help to mellow the wine. The entire poem is meant to be gently humorous and reflects a strong relationship that existed between the poet and his patron. And Horace arranged the material so that it is divided in 2 blocks with a central stanza. There are 7 stanzas, 3 plus 1 plus 3. And the first 3 stanzas depict preparations for the drinking party. That third stanza, the whole stanza, simply describing the uncorking of a bottle that was over 30 years old because it was sealed in the consulship of Tullus, 66 BC. This poem was written about 29 BC. The central stanza is an invitation to Maecenas, come and take up the goblets in my honour. And then the final 3 stanzas describe the poet yarning to Maecenas over a glass of wine and encouraging him to forget the affairs of state. Now the arrangement helps to solve a difficulty. The idea of the symposium, the drinking party really, is to eat, drink and be merry, taking no thought for the morrow. Carpe diem, quam minimum credula postero. And it was common for the host at these dinner parties to hang a skeleton in the triclinium with the legend memento mori, Remember, man must die. But it would not do for Horace to be so frivolous as to debase and ignore the great political issues in which he participated. What he has done is to create a setting in which it is appropriate to urge such views on Maecenas after they have begun to relax over a bottle, well, as John Keats would have called it, of the blushful Hippocrene. And so Horace first surveys the state of the empire in a way that is both poetically effective, for a series of strange, far-off places comes to life in one memorable phrase after another, and it's politically serious in a way that gives depth and range to an apparently light-hearted poem. Then the poet finally jokes with his patron, urging him to be negligence, and tells him he is a private citizen after all, implying that he is in fact neither of these. And then in the closing words, he urges the hedonistic view of life on Maecenas, but only for this passing hour. Praesentis ori. I hope you've enjoyed this little contribution from the poet of 2,000 years ago.